In chapter 5 of Sai Sachitra, we learn about arrival of Sai Baba in Shirdi. So the chapter begins with the story of Chand Patil, who is wandering in the woods in search of his mare. So the mare is lost for more than 2 months, and the owner Chand Patil is absolutely at loss. And there he sees a fakir who is Sai Baba sitting in the jungle and preparing to light up his chilam. Chilam is something like cigar. And then he sees that this fakir extract fire, the embers from the earth by striking the earth with his forceps, chimta. And this person, Chand Patil, is in absolute awe that to light up a chilam one requires fire, and there was no fire in the jungle. And this fakir strikes the earth, inserts his symbolically inserts his forceps and brings out embers to light up his cigar, chilam. And the next thing the fakir does is to extract water by the same procedure, striking the earth with his chimta and extracting water to cool off his chilam. So these were two miracle of sorts that Chand Patil sees, and he's in absolute awe of this fakir. And before he witnesses all this fakir had told him that the thing that you are searching for, you will find that thing by the nala. And that is exactly what happens when Chand Patil goes to the spot which Sai Baba guides him to. He finds his lost mare of 2 months, and he's so happy to be united with his mare. And that's when he goes back to the fakir and sees the fakir doing these two actions to light up his chilam. And then he requests the fakir to accompany him to his home, and he takes the fakir to his house. Now, Chand Patil's son is about to get married, and the barat is supposed to go to Shirdi. That's how, after staying for some time in Chand Patil's house, the fakir comes to Shirdi permanently, and along with the barat, and stays in Shirdi. While Mahal Sapti is descending the footsteps of the temple, he sees this ascetic, and he addresses him as Ao Sai. That's how Sai Baba was called as Sai in his lifetime, and for all of us devotees. While Sai Baba was staying in Shirdi, a lot of um, other ascetics used to visit Shirdi, and they used to prophesize that Sai Baba is not a ordinary soul, he's an extraordinary soul, and in future you will have the realization of how grand a soul has incarnated in this lifetime. So these were the prophecies that other saints of that time would say about Sai Baba when he had just entered Shirdi and started living there. In Maharashtra, there is a saint popularly known as Akkalkot Maharaj, who had lot of devotees following him, and one such devotee wanted to donate silver padukas to his guru Akkalkot Maharaj. And then Akkalkot Maharaj comes in the dream of the devotee and says that these days my residing place is Shirdi. And that's how there is a Charan Paduka of silver in the Neemwada in present day, and that's in Shirdi, where Akkalkot Maharaj had directed his devotee to take the silver padukas there. So this also shows the unity of saints, that all saints of all religion, of all belief systems are one. They work in unison. They are one in spirit, and they respect each other. And that is the teaching a true saint will always give to his devotees, to believe in unity, to not have a veil of discrimination, and always love, and have a dealing of equanimity towards all. So when those silver padukas, the silver sandals were brought to Shirdi, Baba graced those sandals by touching them and saying that these are the feet of the Lord, and place them under the neem vriksh and pay respects there. That's how everybody in today's uh, day goes there and pays respect to the silver padukas that are there, silver sandals. And there is an inscription which says that because of the love and greatness of Sai Baba, this bitter neem tree has sweet leaves. And this, in my experience, also, I feel the neem tree has so much healing power, and those who go with faith, sincerity, always find healing underneath the neem tree and wish fulfillment. That neem tree is also symbolic of the place where Sai Baba did tapasya with his guru. So Baba had a very simple way of life. He used to mostly eat food that was given to him in bhiksha, in charity, and by the house dwellers, householders, and he had a small jhola. He used to wear chola, a cotton long dress, white colored. Sai Baba carried a tin called tamrail with for water, and all the food that was donated or the articles that were donated by the householders were kept in his bag and mixed up, which and the food was actually mixed up and cooked like a khichdi of sorts that we have in Sai Baba temple, which is symbolic of not having liking or disliking, pleasure or displeasure towards any particular kind of food or taste. So, this too shows that Baba was not greedy or not addicted to a certain taste or a certain food. That this is akin to most saints of any religion. In his early days, Sai Baba used to wear trousers and shirt, and he also used to enjoy wrestling. And once he was wrestling, and then he had this change of heart, and he stopped wrestling. And so did the other wrestler who he used to like wrestling to. That other wrestler also had a change of heart. He heard a voice that you should use this physical body in service of God, and not, for our own ego, pleasure, um, or satisfaction. This body should be used for in service of God. So that was the realization the wrestler who used to wrestle with Sai Baba had, and he too in time gave up on his Western outlook on wrestling, gave up wrestling and devoted his life in service of God. Once Baba went collecting oil from householders, shopkeepers, and those shopkeepers shooed him away, saying that we don't have oil, we don't have oil. So then Baba did not say anything. He came back, and those shopkeepers were curious. They wanted to see how is Sai Baba going to light up the lamp if he doesn't have oil. So what Sai Baba does is he fills water in a can, drinks that water, gulps it down, and then gulps it out and fills the can with the liquid that comes out of his body. And then he pours that liquid in the diyas and lights up the lamp, and those lamps are burning throughout the night. And shopkeepers regret their cunningness and ask for forgiveness because when Baba asked them to donate oil, they were very mean and they were materialistic. So this is a lesson that we should not be mean and we should not be materialistic. So this is part of chapter 5. A small incident narrated in chapter 5 about a devotee whose brother was seeking uh, a child, and he was twice married but did not have a child, and somebody suggested that he should go to Sai Baba for his blessings and then his wish will come true. And he did that, and he was blessed with a child, and ever since people started flocking Shirdi in search of Sai Baba for their wish fulfillment. And the last story in this chapter is about a fake guru who says that Sai Baba is actually his chela, his disciple, and he is the guru. And Sai Baba never refutes it, and he is trying, he follows every command of the guru. He does not argue with the guru. Whatever instructions that fake guru gives to Sai Baba, he follows them. And people could see that he is a fake guru and Sai Baba is the real gem, he is God incarnate. Then why is he following the instructions of a fake guru? Ultimately, somebody challenged that fake guru to a debate, a spiritual debate, where that fake guru lost the debate, and it was established that he is a fake guru and not a real guru. And that fake guru had the realization that he was operating from his ego and arrogance. So, this by this his behavior, Sai Baba's behavior of always following the instruction of the guru, never arguing with the guru, following the instruction of the guru in letter and spirit, Sai Baba established the relationship of a guru and a disciple by his own example, and how a true disciple should always follow the command and advice of his guru, and never argue or challenge or question. So this was a leela or a miracle or a story, so to say, to for the devotees to understand that one should not operate from ego and arrogance and should always surrender to the command of their guru, God. With this, chapter 5 is over. Om Sai Ram.